I'll call this meeting to order, the Materials Management Committee. Make sure everybody's got your mics on. Any additions to the agenda? Seeing none. Everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from last meeting. Any problems? We'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented then.
Motion to approve.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion passed. Waste hauling reports.
So I actually did not end up including the recycling and waste hauling reports this month because a few of our haulers reported they had technical difficulties and weren't able to get us the data. So I don't have anything new, especially R&M one's one of the biggest ones, and they're the ones that make our recycling numbers a little bit better. So I didn't want to give a false number. So I'll have hopefully next month, August and September for you. And for my program coordinators report, one thing that is not on the thing in the packet was that Vicki Riddle, who's on our committee, has resigned from the committee because her work schedule has made it so she cannot attend anymore. So she is going to be checking with her other city council members in Tecumseh to see if anyone wants to serve. So hopefully soon we'll have another appointee. We'll have to do the same for the solid waste committee for the city manager as well, because Tecumseh has a new city manager. So, and as far as my report, we have our most popular post this month. I'm very excited because I thought no one would be sharing it or anything. I haven't gotten any responses yet though, but I put out a call for farmers to let us know if we can drop pumpkins off. If they do composting on their farm, I would love to put out a list for our residents around Halloween time, where people can take their pumpkins after instead of putting them in the landfill. And once again, can I throw a television in the trash if it's broken? The TV, every time we've shared it, I was just telling Joe, we've put it in the blogs, we've put out news reports, we've put so many social media posts, but every time we post anything about electronics, it gets shared widely and people do not know still that they can take it to Goodwill. So please spread the message to people if they ask that they can year-round take their electronics to Goodwill. We also did a post, does Lenawee County have a landfill? And listing where people can take their bulk trash. And then we did a post that was popular about reducing waste when cleaning out our closet for fall. Obviously reusing and donating to thrift stores and getting all our cozy sweaters from all of our local shops that are here. And so those were popular. We just had our Delicious in downtown Adrian and the refrigerator organization handout, our trash and recycling cheat sheet and the home composting guides were very popular items that were picked up at the health department's table. The health department's not going to be going out to First Fridays anymore in Adrian. They've kind of cut back a lot of their public, their ability to do public opportunities, but wherever they are taking stuff from our department with them and handing them out as well. I did this month do a municipality newsletter to all the leaders that are on boards. Hopefully, if you're on a board, you got it. That included that cheat sheet, which is basically a list of phone numbers for like every type of item people need to dispose of. I have a mattress. What do I do with it? I have the, it lists the phone numbers and the TVs and hazardous waste, the things we get called for. It's a double-sided sheet. I think I've shared it with y'all before, but we sent the PDF to all of our municipal leaders in the county, and we did get positive feedback from most of them. And we said, have it on hand so when your residents call, or print it out and give it out to your residents. So, and it's actually reduced the number of phone calls that we've gotten this month at the solid waste department. So that's good news. And Waste hauler licenses, not a lot of activity there this month, but next month will be the season we send out the renewal packets to all the people that have their licenses, and hopefully we'll get some new ones this year too on board. Current projects, the big one is, was included from this committee, our first project, the Halloween trick or treat candy recycling boxes. I have, all 5 of them were delivered, yesterday, and, the first confirmed location is Adrian Public Library has agreed to host one of them, and I'll probably reach out to Tecumseh Library, and probably do one in the health department as well. So, yeah, that's my update for the month. If anyone has any questions about any of this.
What did we do last year on licenses? Did everybody,
Most people renewed. I think we had one out of Toledo that did not renew, and they have never responded to any of my reaching out, but I don't believe they had a lot of pickups in the county. But that would be one when we move to our new plan and we report people, this is on the list. If you see them, please report them to Sheriff's Department, because they're illegally hauling in the county, so.
how did the scrap iron companies, did they respond to?
I don't have affirmative from Eagle. I don't believe that we regulate the scrap metal people though.
The existing business, material management planning update.
Update on state funding. As many of you might have heard in the news, there is still no final state budget. So that's been kicked another week down the road. So there's not really any, we don't know what funding is going to look like next year. Based from what I'm kind of getting out of Eagle, what we have now is probably what we're going to get in the long term, and whether or not we even get what we've been promised now is we'll see, the DPAs, I'm the DPA for Lenawee County, so it's the person kind of coordinating materials management for all their county. We meet every other month, as a whole, and there was a lot of frustration, with Eagle and their communication and lack of clear direction on a lot of these items. So, they've written a strongly worded letter to Eagle and the Eagle director, and not just the person running the materials management, and have requested a meeting with the DPAs in November. And she responded, so it looks like that's going to be happening so that we can, the biggest point is the lack of communication and clarity on a lot of this. But one of the 2 people that was heading up materials management, because of cuts, got redirected to another department. So now there's only 1 person. So it's a little bit weird over there. I will say, as far as the existing funding that we've been granted in our grant, some of the counties have put in their reimbursement requests and are getting really complicated responses, like you need to document this, making it extremely difficult to get their funding. So not unexpected, but I did forward all that to our finance director. That's why I'm kind of glad we opted to wait on a lot of our spending, because Eagles need to work out their kinks on their end before putting things in. So everything that they're kicking back to the county is in my shared DPA group, and then I'm forwarding to our finance person. So when we do submit for the Halloween boxes, will be our first thing that we submit, and hopefully we will get our money back for that. So I did include in your packet, I wanted to let you know where we are in the process. We're actually still far ahead of where other counties are and where we should be now. It's a year process, and we are just about, not even a year in. I think maybe we're a year when we submitted, but so we're in a 3-year process, and we're actually in a really good place right now. section, and so I took the little template that Eagle gave us for our MMP, and I wanted to kind of run down where we are, so you guys had an idea. Section 1, the planning area profile, which is, it's basically data on our county, how many people we have, where are all the recycling sites, where are, the landfill and all that information that we agreed in our, work plan that we would hire a consultant to do all that busy work and data collection for. That's not done. We're gonna do our RFPs in January on that part of the plan. The materials management goals, mostly done. We voted on them as a committee. We will need, as we discussed in last meeting, we're going to have to change our organics goal due to the lack of sustainable funding on Eagle's end. So we're going to make it so it is more compliant with the law, and rather than what we kind of wanted it to be, uh, to expand that services, but we are gonna just do the bare minimum required as law, as we discussed, last meeting. And we'll have to, change the goal strategy and implementation that we voted on based on the results from the recycling pilot. When we get that going, we may change, and on funding, we can't, as a county, pay for 3 additional sites without Eagle funding. So we may have to change that as well. And we'll have to include wording to say this might go away if it's not funded by the state. So section 3, mechanisms. The enforcement mechanisms are done and you guys approved them. The citing processes are done and you approved them. Work needed in this section is the funding mechanisms. Obviously, we'll still need to write that. We'll have to include language to allow for variables in state funding. So we have to write a materials management plan, but we, some of it is going to have to be contingent on our ability to pay for it. So we'll have to put that in the wording of our plan. And administration, it's not done, but the work needed is just who is going to administer the plan once it's implemented, which is my department and health department, and we just have to formally write it out and you have to vote on it. So that's where we are. We will probably, the goal is for me to write the official draft in April or May, and for you guys to review and make edits on the first draft in July. So that's in our work plan. That's what we had on there, and we are ahead of schedule on that. So any questions on the timeline? Concerns?
My only concern would be is some of the issues that the other counties are going through for funding. So we should probably be logging those and making action plans against some of those other concerns that may be outlying that we're not identifying right now. So I would say.
Any other questions or comments? Recycling pilot?
Okay, in your packet, you had requested, last month, I shared the RFPs and the different options, and you had requested I reach out to the 3 municipalities and to get what they thought. So I typed out what they thought. Britain didn't respond at all. And Hudson said all 3 would be okay. There was concern from Onstead about the illegal dumping. And so they said they would probably prefer cardboard only. They had asked if we could switch mid pilot if something wasn't working, and I explained that wouldn't be possible because we're signing contracts, and that's why it's a pilot. So if it doesn't work, we could switch after the pilot is over. So but they are okay with whatever, but their preference was cardboard only. So those are the only answers that I got from them. So I am open. And would you guys like me to go over the options again, especially for people that were not here last time? These were the RFPs. The basic facts were it's a 9-month pilot. We have a budget for 10,000 in the grant, but there's wiggle room because we've cut the organics, we decided to cut the organics last time. That equals about 1,100 a month. And cardboard only sites would qualify as a recycling site. The Eagle did get back to us on that. So Stevens put in two options. One is $212.96 per month per location, which would be $638.88 total. But there's a $100 contamination fee on the cardboard only lids. The pros would be we could expand to more locations because it's pretty much half our budget. So we could possibly do 6 towns if we wanted to. And it would cut down on cardboard demands at the DOS because that was huge in July. We had to shut down a couple of times because it was so full. Cons, the residents would still have to drive to town for their other materials. And so it comes down to, are we doing the bare minimum or really wanting to provide with our funds what we can for the residents? And then the other option was single stream recycling, which was $600 per load. And this was a rotating, so we would have the recycling bin maybe one weekend a month in each city. And it's we had the picture in the last packet. It was a really cool special recycle only, mobile that we would take around to the 3 different cities. So if once per month at each site would be about $1,800. And if we wanted to amend it for, which, with eliminating organics, we might be able to afford, but if we wanted to drop it down to 2 sites a month, that'd be $1,200. The pros, it would allow us to grow the program as needed or change locations if one wasn't successful. And it would meet the at least 24 hours per month requirement in the law because it would be there over the weekend in each site. And it would give more flexibility, and residents would be able to recycle all materials at one location. The con would be require a communications plan to make sure residents are aware of where the recycling bin will be that month or when it will be coming. So, and the special lids wouldn't fit the container. So there's always that risk of contamination. But with it being there a shorter amount of time, there's more ability to monitor that. So, and then the LRS bid, is $954 per month for 3 sites with a twice weekly pickup, and that is commingled single stream recycling. A 5% increase at the end of the 9-month trial. If it continued, the county would be responsible for any contamination costs. We could get special lids for those, I believe. I'm still figuring that out. The pros are it's the most inexpensive option, and residents would be able to recycle all materials at one location. The site would be 24/7, so they wouldn't have to keep track of a schedule. The cons are with a 24/7 site, there's a greater risk for contamination. That includes, we had talked about making the municipalities responsible for any trash on the ground around the sites. And so that's why we went back to them for feedback. So those are the 3 options. We can open for discussion. If you want to vote on one, or we can punt it another month if you want to still wait on it. I'll hand it over to the committee.
Well, that single stream, that's $1,200 per site, correct?
From Stevens?
If we want to amend it to 2 sites for now, it would be $1,200 per month, not per site, correct?
No, it's 600 per load.
Okay,
So the load would be at every site that it went to. So if we went to 3 places, it would be $1,800 if we did every other weekend. Is that correct, Jim?
Yeah, that's per load.
what's that, Jim?
It's per load,
Okay.
cardboard option.
It really was a little vague there, so that's why I was asking. It just,
So did we get a response from the municipalities? Are they gonna be responsible for,
Oh,
my
yeah,
mic's on.
yeah.
Did they get the, a response? Are they gonna be responsible for the contamination around the can or cleanup around the can?
Around the can, yeah.
Okay.
In the can would be county's responsibility.
What are you looking?
Discussion, motion, whatever you guys would like to do. If you want to get started on it, choose one of the RFPs or want more information,
I would think we would get the most participation with the LRS one because it's 24/7.
Mhm.
The other one, like you said, the roll-off box. You know, the other one that's cardboard only versus, you know, mixed or roll-off. And like you said, that's just a nightmare trying to get the word out on where it's gonna be and when.
As, yeah, and thinking about it, since we last met, I've been thinking that, while the risk of contamination and mess around the site is real, and, you know, I don't live in these parts of town, so I don't know, you guys would have a better sense about how likely that is to happen, but my thought has kind of gone back to your point, Julie, about making the best option available to the residents, and as you're saying, Jim, giving the opportunity for consistent single stream option, seems worth trying. And if it becomes unmanageable, I think this group can, I know you talked about being in a contract, but we also talked about it being a pilot with kind of this 5-month initial period. It's worth a shot, giving the residents the opportunity on it. And if it's working well, that's great. If it's not, I don't think there's any reason we can't go back to the drawing board.
Where's the rest of the money coming from in annual contracts? It's the grant's only 10 grand. So it's gonna be more.
yeah, so this is a 9-month pilot. So if we don't have the money, we'll have to stop the pilot. Yes,
Okay, so we're only going for 9 months, not 12.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So we're,
Does that right at the top? I just apparently can't spell all the
and
education.
the plan was originally by this committee that if we get the 60,000 promised from Eagle to implement our materials management plan, it would fund these. So we would have the sites required by law. However, whether or not the state is going to require us to have recycling sites and not fund them, yeah.
And they're not gonna likely have a lot more plan until they know where their money's coming.
So then would we just defer to make a decision until we have the funding?
We have the funding now for the
We
pilot.
have the 10.
Mhm.
I move we vote.
I'll make a motion then to move forward and accept the bid for LRS bid. It's like as presented, funds being paid for out of the grant.
Second.
Who seconded it? Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same?
Then 1 second, Jim and Larry need to recuse themselves.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Motion to abstain due to conflict of interest.
Yes, same on the.
We gotta do them for the record separately, but, so I'll support your motion, then you gotta vote on the
Second.
abstentions.
And Dave,
Then you have to vote on the abstentions individually, so vote twice, and
A third time.
then you vote a third time on that.
So you guys know what you're doing.
This is government.
So we,
Okay, so Dave seconded Larry's motion to
Yep.
recuse himself.
for the purposes of conflict of interest.
Okay,
I second.
who seconded it?
I second.
okay. So we have to vote on Larry recusing himself.
All right. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion passed.
All right, Jim, your turn.
Abstention.
And we need a second.
Second.
Okay,
You made the
Matt?
motion there. That'd be
Okay.
Dave's then.
okay. Now we need to vote on Jim's.
Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
We
Motion
can
passed.
vote on the RFP.
Okay, now you can vote on the RFP, but Larry and Jim sit on your hand.
Or you can remake your motion.
I'll renew my motion that was previously made.
I second.
Okay, moved and supported. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passed.
Yay. I will get
Any-
that started.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on that? Okay,
Larry, I am off till Monday. I only went through Wednesday now, so I will contact you on
Yeah.
Monday about rolling that.
Reach out.
and we'll get any kind of reports on contamination and that kind of stuff, so we can kind of keep an eye on that.
Yeah, as I said in the past, you're probably not gonna look and see contamination because it's just the exchange, the recycling plant that we take to separates everything, so we haven't seen a contamination fee in 2.5 years, so.
We have not.
Yeah, I don't believe you'll see a contamination fee unless there's, somebody throws mattresses or something and it's completely abused in that form.
Okay.
And if that happens, we'll have a conversation with the county first, before we make a charge.
Any other existing business?
Not existing.
New business?
Okay, so we have, I gave you guys the status of where we are on everything. We don't have any voting items for a while. If you would like to, we have November and December and January are typically pretty busy months for people being here. Rather than not having quorum or having scramble last minute, I was wondering if you all had thought about meeting schedule for the next few months, if you wanted to meet again, or meet in November and then be done December and January. I'll leave that up to you, but I thought it would be good to have a discussion on that as a committee.
Not available in January, so.
The first week, usually people are out anyway. 'Cause of-
I was gonna say November, December with
This-
being
yeah,
early in the
December,
month,
January.
not an issue for me, but January, I would say probably be a good one to skip because it's the holiday week.
January and December. So good for me. November.
If there's no new action to be taken,
Can we-
can we just skip November? Maybe take a
December
month
and
off,
January.
go back to December, take a month off and hit it again in February?
Is that a motion?
I motion we move to February 1st. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Can't hear you,
Yeah,
Dave.
fair enough, fair enough.
Do we want to, Matt kind of had a motion.
I just have thought, I mean, you might want to do it to call the chair, especially with the state budget where it is today. So you may have to have a meeting. Can't hear you.
You're always at the call of the chair if there's a request for a meeting. So if something happens, they can always put out the request.
So I make the motion to have a meeting in December and February?
Second.
The motion was to have a meeting in December and February, correct? And not November or January,
Correct.
just so everybody's clear.
Just the public notice.
And I had a second, right?
I second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion passed.
Hopefully Brooke, you'll be back in the office.
At least by February.
Any other new business? I had a request. I had to go to hearing on some cleanup issues in our township last week. And, a couple of the enforcement officers for the county were there and would like flyers for our next tire recycling, that they could pass out to people that are in violation of that rule in townships, specifically Dick Northup and Tecumseh and Darren Coates from Palmyra. He covers a couple others. And it may be an idea that we can, as a group, find out who these people are for the rest of the communities in the county.
Do you think our, how do I dispose of cheat sheet would be better than the tire specifically because it has everything that we could
They
hand
they
them?
want specific dates that they can hand to these people and
Okay.
say, there's a tire recycling, we will forego your court or whatever, as long as you guarantee that you're gonna have your stuff.
We don't have specific dates for the spring.
Not yet,
but
no.
It depends on funding, but they can always take them. I can make a flyer for where they can take them.
Right.
Now, like Jefferson Township Transfer.
But they are asking specifically, once we have a date, to let these
Okay.
people know.
Yes, if you give me
have
their
to be.
contact info, I'll handle that.
So if we can find anybody else in the county that City of Adrian does, right?
Fire?
No, it does, has an enforcement officer.
Okay.
So that, in the bigger areas I know do have, so. Public comment? No public comment?
No public, no public. I guess Jim's technically public.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
The support?
Who seconded? I'm done. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're adjourned at